Hey everybody, peace and blessings to you. I am recording on March 20th, 2025 in a New England state in America. I am an immigrant living in America, an INFJ empath, an idealist, progressive, agnostic, light worker, energy reader, intuitive, INFJ empath. Did I say that already? And many, many more things. Poet, writer, now YouTuber, used to be an Instagrammer, woman, 42-year-old woman, mother and wife, learning to navigate this timeline, learning to hold her light and create a protection, a bubble of protection around her light force in a timeline where darkness is trying to devour our lights. And this is part 2 to a video that I just recorded. The theme is transmutation, turning darkness into light. And what I want to do in this particular video is I wanted to, because the previous video just kind of went on too long. And it might have been like way too long for you guys. But I wanted to read in my own voice a beautiful, beautiful transcript. I don't know if I can read all, but honestly, I don't have specific parts highlighted, so I don't know if I'm going to read all, but a beautiful transcript from a YouTube video that I watched yesterday, and I also listened to it again this morning. The video is called Message from Ashtar. This video found you for a reason. Do not ignore it. And it's from a channel called Soul Compass. And there's so much good stuff, so much good inspirational stuff in here for you that I just wanted to share. I'm going to try to not read the whole thing. I'm going to look for I'm going to try to find the particular parts that I really want you to hear. But I do recommend you listening to that video if you want to hear the whole thing. Thank you. Let me just... Okay, so the video starts out with the greetings. Greetings, beloved ones. I am Ashta, Commander of the Galactic Federation, Guardian of the Cosmic Order, and Messenger of the Divine Wisdom. And Messenger of Divine Wisdom. You did not arrive here by mere coincidence. You were meant to receive this message. For you, one of the chosen, you, my friend, are here for a purpose, a radiant soul woven into great tapestry of existence. You are not lost, nor are you wandering without reason. No, nor are you wandering without reason. No, you are meant to be here. Guiding light in these times of transformation, a beacon illuminating the path for others, shining through the darkness that grips the world. Your mission, by the way, I printed out the transcript from the YouTube video, so there's no punctuation, so I'm going to be reading kind of without the punctuations. Your mission is clear: to rise, to heal, to uplift. But understand this: true healing does not begin in the world outside of you. It begins within the light you seek. It begins within. The light you seek has always been inside of you, waiting, whispering, calling you to step forward, to embrace your power. Yet, how many times have you silenced that voice? How often have you dimmed your own light just to make others comfortable? And I want to just stop at that part for a second. That part resonated with me because it reminded me of my favorite quote, which if you are a constant watcher of my videos, you would know that I mention this quote sometimes in various videos. And it is a quote by Marianne Williamson from a book that I didn't read, but that quote has stuck with me my entire life. You know, it could be found in Coach Carter, and you know, it once used to be attributed to a Nelson Mandela quote, but it's actually a Marianne Williamson quote in which she wrote in a book that I did not read, but sounds like a good book. It's that quote when we talk about our greatest fear and about letting our light shine. And when we let our light shine, we give other people permission to let their light shine. And the one part of that quote that stuck with me my entire life, because I realized as a young person I used to do this. She says, the quote says, you know, you playing small doesn't help anybody, you know. And it talks about it's us, we are afraid of our light. And I that resonated with me so strongly because that was me. That was my youth. That's probably why I struggle with anxiety, because all my light was being stifled because I knew that I had so much light and I didn't fit in. That's why I hated school. That's why I ended up homeschooling my kids, because I personally hated school. I didn't hate school because it didn't have anything good to offer me. You know, education is good, but hanging out with other kids when you are a certain type of unique kind of person, the kids stifle you. Kids try to force you back into your into a box, and you have to fit in and be like everybody else, and you can't stand out. And if you stand out, they're gonna bully you and be cruel to you and be mean to you, you know. And I felt like I was probably a very stifled young woman because I had so much light. Everything that I am now, the weirdo that I'm becoming, a weirdo according to world standards, I always was. It was just a younger version of it, a younger, uninformed version of it, you know. But I was always misunderstood. And I always didn't stand out. I mean, I always didn't fit in. I always struggled to be like everybody else and to fit into groups and to. I just struggled. I couldn't be a part of the world. So I get it. I get this, and that's why that part resonated with me so much. You know. So let me just repeat it. To embrace your power. Yet, how many times have you silenced that voice? How often have you dimmed your own light just to make others feel comfortable? Way too often. Not anymore though. How often have you betrayed your own truth to fit into a world that was never meant to hold you, never meant to hold you? I love that part. How often did you betray your own truth to fit into a world that was never meant to hold you? In my past, too damn often. But not that often. I still kind of like fought for myself. But more often than I would have liked, you know. I eventually fought for myself though. No more time. No more. The time, remember, this doesn't have any punctuations. No more. The time has come to step fully into your authenticity, which is a very hard word for me to say for some reason. Your true essence is your greatest power. The universe did not shape you to be like the rest. You were meant to walk the same path as those who are. You were not. Sorry, you were never meant to walk the same path as those who are still sleeping. If something doesn't feel aligned, it is because it is not for you. Listen to that knowing deep within your soul. It is the compass that will lead you home. Stand tall. Stand in truth. Remember this. Remember this. The brightest stars are forged in the heart of the darkest nights. You are one of them, and your time to shine has arrived. And your time to shine has arrived. Again, that resonates with me because I feel like we are in the darkest timeline in a long time, in 100 years, the darkest timeline in 100 years, in a long time. You know, a repetition of the worst times in history, a bringing back of all the ugly things, wars, and being unsafe, and sickness, and economic turmoil. I don't know what the word is. Economic challenges and slavery and segregation and separation and division and propaganda and fascism and idiocracy and all these different things, bringing back the worst things. They're trying to suck up the light in the room. I know I say this all the time, but just hearing me, they're trying to devour you. Like the vision I have is like, I think about Hocus Pocus and when the witch, when Winifred was trying to suck the light from the little kids, you know, when she was, and she was, that's what I think that they're doing. They're trying to devour the light of as many people as possible. The brightest stars are forged in a heart of darkness. The brightest stars are forged in the heart of the darkest night. You are one of them, and your time to shine has arrived. Listen closely, for these words are meant for you. You have always been different, haven't you? A seeker, a wanderer, an old soul in a world that often feels unfamiliar. Others may have called you strange, misunderstood. You tried to fit into the mold that was never your destiny. For you were drawn to the ancient wisdoms of those who walked before us. You feel the pull of deep knowledge, the kind that cannot be found in books, but only within the soul. You are attuned to creativity, a divine force that flows through you, wanting to be expressed. Do not resist this truth. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, to lead, to illuminate. And what is your greatest weapon in this mission? Love. Yes, my friend, love is a force that transforms the energy, that transmutes darkness into light. But do not misunderstand, love does not mean submission. Love does not mean tolerating pain, nor does it mean staying where you are not valued. You will not heal until you learn to love your pain, not as a burden, but as a teacher. Until you love what has hurt you, not by embracing it, but releasing it, you will not heal. Until you understand that true love is the power to let go, there's no strength and clinging to what drains you. There's no strength and clinging to what drains you. To what drains you. There's no strength and clinging to what drains you. To love yourself is to free yourself, to walk away, to rise above, to move forward without the weight of the past holding you back. And as you do this, your energy begins to shift. You see every thought, every action, every word carries a vibration, and your energy is unlike any other. So let me pause right there. I could attest to that being true because I feel light as a feather. I can tell y'all, I don't get triggered the way that I did before. I am learning how to transmute darkness into light. I am learning how to love myself. And if you have seen the other videos that I've posted that I've recorded over the last week, that is the focus of it. Self-love, loving myself. And because I have so much love for myself in here, then my light is on and my body feels lighter and I feel weightless, and I can step into being a warrior of truth, love, and light, a light worker, and step into the future that I believe in, holding that lantern and at the gateway, waiting for other people to come towards the path that I am hopefully creating, that I'm trying to create, like allowing myself to learn and to live and to love and to be and to be free. I like I said, I could attest that love is just, self-love is freeing. It is freeing. And that's why again I like to say Letitia Learns Life is the theme of my channel, because it is not, it is authenticity, it is imperfection, it is learning about being alive in this timeline, and learning about being alive in general, how to live the best life, how to thrive, you know, how to defeat the darkness, and learning a little bit about the past, learning about what's happening in the present, being aware of what's going on in the present, and preparing for a future that I believe in. A future that I believe in. As you do this, your energy begins to shift. You see, every thought, every action, every word carries a vibration, and your energy is unlike any other. It is powerful beyond measure, and a force that shapes reality itself. You are manifesting in every moment your world. You are manifesting in every moment. Your world bends to the frequency you emit. This is why you must be mindful. Control your mind. Move with intention. Feel the reality you wish to create before it has even arrived. Because when you master this, the universe will bow to your will. Your light does not exist to flee from darkness. It exists to illuminate it. You were never meant to fear the shadows, nor to run from them, for it is in the presence of light that darkness loses its grip. Your purpose is not to fight the darkness, but to stand in your truth so powerfully that it dissolves in your presence. But hear me, well, beloved soul. But hear me well, beloved soul. You do not need to change the world. You do not need to change the world. That is not your burden. Instead, be the light. Within it, a single flame does not battle the night. It simply shines and the night recedes. So shine unapologetically, authentically, without fear. But even the brightest light needs to stay. Grounded right now in this time of great shift. The energies around you are turbulent forces unseen, moved to distract, to confuse, to drain. That is why you must protect your energy like a sacred flame. Return to the earth with bare feet. Return to the earth. Walk barefoot upon the soil. Let Gaia remind you who you are. You are breath in the life force of the forests, the rivers, the oceans. Let nature cleanse you at the end of a long day when you feel weighed down by energies that do not belong to you. Visualize your energy centers aligning your aura, glowing brighter, and all that is yours dissolving into light. Because your energy is precious, do not let the chaos of the world dim it. And when you feel alone on this path, remember this: you are not alone. There are many like you. You may not have met them yet. But they are out there, scattered like stars across the vast sky. And when the time is right, the universe will align your paths. But to find your soul tribe, you must become who you were meant to be. Rise into your highest self. Step fully into your power. Shine without hesitation. So let me just pause at that spot, because it reminds me of what I have written and what I have spoken about the fact that we are stars. It reminds me of the quote by Kamala Harris talking about the billions of stars glowing in the night. That was such a beautiful speech, her concession speech. And I had written something where I said, I see the stars. And I have been seeing the stars because I haven't been focusing on the darkness. I haven't been focusing on what that guy said, you know, and what he threatens to do, and the things that he signs, and his executive orders, and the horrible stuff that he's doing that I cannot control, or him and all the energies like him that are doing that I have no control over. The bullies, you know, but I do control my light, and I know that my light gives other lights permission to shine, and I see other stars. I see the stars. I am so freaking privileged. You know, I prefer this timeline, even though it sucks, because I get to see the stars. Sometimes the power has to go out so that we can see the stars and remember that they're there. And when the power comes back on, we will always know where the stars are. We would have seen the stars. So my advice to you all is to look for the stars. I am one of those stars, so I hope that you also continue to look for me. To subscribe to my channel, to help this channel to grow, to comment to this video, to like this video. Help me with the algorithm and help me to shine my light and shine the star, to be a star shining for other people who need to see the stars. And I'm privileged enough to see the stars. Let me continue. I'm also going to remind you that this text that I've been reading from, this is a transcript from a video called Message from Ashtar. This video found you for a reason. Do not ignore it. And the channel is Soul Compass. And, you know, subscribe to that channel. I just subscribed. I subscribed yesterday, and this is the only video I watched from that channel. But this video meant a lot to me on a day where a lot of dark energies and dark headlines was coming up. So I'm really glad that, and I made, like I said, I made a joke with my husband. I said, my day is done. I've collected what I needed to collect today. Everything else is bonus. That video was what I needed to collect for the day, and everything else was bonus. And the thing I want to tell you about the words in this video is that it's just very, very well presented and put together, but it's nothing different than what I usually say. So, you know, it just is a kind of affirmation, a validation and an affirmation to what I've been saying. What I've been saying for years, but even more than what I've been saying for years, what I've been leaning into for months. Since the darkness, since November, and the darkness overcame the world and the shift, because you could feel, you felt the shift. I've been saying that we gotta let our lights shine brighter now. We gotta lean into our light even more, and we gotta be defiant. Being defiant is not obeying in advance. That is a quote from Timothy Snyder's book. Timothy Snyder's book on tyranny, 20 lessons from the 20th century. And his first thing, the first lesson, do not obey in advance. And as far as I'm concerned, obeying in advance is giving into fear. That's the first freaking thing. You're giving into fear. Don't give into fear. Don't respond out of fear, and don't respond how you think that those idiots want you to respond. You know, be freaking defiant, and do the hard thing. Do the hard thing. Okay, I'm back. I just went to go and get breakfast with my family, and it was just a wonderful breakfast. A breakfast for champions. What a wonderful way to start the season of spring. Okay, I'm feeling good vibes. I'm feeling good energy. I'm already feeling the power of transmuting darkness into light. I already feel the light, and I am feeling pure light energy. I am feeling creative. I am feeling artistic. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm feeling in balance. My chakras in balance. And I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. Let's continue. Let's continue reading. I'm reading from a YouTube video that I watched yesterday on the 19th of March 2025. I watched it yesterday. It is from a channel called Soul Compass, and we're talking about being the light. That's what we're talking about here. Being the light. Everything that I've ever loved, every verse that I've ever loved, every flower. my favorite flower is the sunflower, because the sunflower is described in this text, standing tall and facing the light and being the light, nourishing and just radiating and illuminating and being yourself. And that in itself is powerful. That in itself is change making. That's making a difference. You were meant to rise into your highest self, step fully into your power, shine without hesitation. And as you do, the ones who resonate with your frequency will be drawn to you like moths to a divine flame. You are the signal. You are the call. And your people will hear. Your people will hear it. Listen, beloved traveler of light, for these words are encoded with wisdom of the stars. You look at the world and you wonder, how can I change it? But hear me well. You do not change the world by force. You change it by healing yourself. The moment you step into your highest truth, the moment you rise, the entire frequency of reality shifts with you. The light you cultivate within reflects outward, touching others, lifting them, awakening them. Your elevation is the key. Your transformation is the revolution. When you heal, you elevate. You will begin to attract those who vibrate at your frequency. You will notice it. The ones who once drained you will fall away. The ones who truly see you will draw near. Your soul will recognize them before your mind does. These are your people. This is your tribe. But for this to happen, you must break free from the chains of fear and conditioning that have told you to stay small. They have told you to obey, to follow, to fear. They have told you what is possible and what is not. But these are illusions. And again, that goes back to that same quote that I told you about, the Marianne Williamson quote about our biggest fear and about playing small and how us playing small doesn't serve anybody. These are illusions programmed into your mind to keep you from stepping into your infinite potential. The moment you stop believing in their limitations, you become limitless. Ask yourself who you are following, the voice of fear or the voice of love. Because healing happens the moment you choose love over fear. The moment you decide that your soul's calling is greater than your fear. Your soul's calling is greater than your fear of judgment. The moment you decide to step forward, even when your hands shake, that is when you break free. But as you rise, be patient. And I'm going to just stop there for a second and dwell on that a minute and absorb that for a minute, because I'm remembering my whole life. I'm remembering stepping up and doing things that scare the heck out of me. And I remember my voice shaking and my feet shaking behind the podium. And I remember back in Barbados, that's where I was born, I started a poetry group. And if, again, like following my videos, you might have heard that mentioned in the previous video that I recorded with my mom, a mom and daughter chat. and we were talking about that. And they were about to, the group was about to end, possibly because no one would step up. And I was young. Like barely in my 20s. And I had visited this group one time, and I was so excited to find a group that I could read my poetry, because I started to realize I love poetry and I wanted to have a place to read my poetry. And I signed up for the guest. Signed the guest book with the email and everything. So I ended up on the email list, and the coordinator of that group was calling for people to. She was looking for a new coordinator because she was getting ready to leave the island. And I ignored the first call. I ignored the second call because I figured call as in email. I figured, okay, people that have been going to this group a long time are going to step up. People that are older than me and braver than me and better poets than me are going to step up. And I figured that, what is this new little upstart that just visited the group? What right do I have to put my name in the ring? And I ended up doing that because I didn't want to see the group fall. I didn't want to see the group no longer exist. And it seemed to me that nobody was stepping up. And I was right, because I ended up getting the gig as the new coordinator of the group. And I brought my fresh ideas, because I've always been an idea person. So I brought my fresh ideas and my anxiety and my fears being fear of standing out, fear of being in front of people, I struggled with anxiety really bad at that time. And I couldn't believe, for lack of a better way of saying it, because it amazed me about me that even with suffering with anxiety very badly, I thought that I should do this because I didn't want to see this group end. And nobody was stepping up. And I did it. And the first few times I hosted by myself because I didn't know anybody. But eventually I had somebody host for me after, because I realized that I was too trembly and too scared. But the first time I did it, I held on to that podium and I could feel my feet shaking behind it, and I could feel my voice cracking and barely could get out. And I was scared. I did it afraid, And that is what this is talking about. It's about being courageous in spite of fear. Doing it even if your hand's shaking. Stepping up and doing what you feel called to do, even if your hand's shaking. And I do not know. This is again why I say that I know now more than ever that I'm meant to be a new earth leader. Because my entire life prepared me for this moment. I don't know what gave me the courage to do things afraid. Why did my desire to see people have a place to shine outweigh my fears, outweigh my anxiety? That is how I know that this is my time to shine. I was always being prepared for this moment, and now here I am, stepping up as a new earth leader. And I know that I overly, people might say, every session, every video, share about my personality and share about who I am. But that's the important parts, because the reason I do that is to set an example, to show you that I do it afraid. I am a introvert. I do this afraid. Well, used to. I have been doing this afraid. I have been doing this with the battle of self-doubt. So I've been feeling what people feel. I am the fear of being judged. But the enemy has become so powerful at this point. I don't care if you judge me anymore, because what do I have to lose? They're like literally trying to take everything. So when you get to the point where they're trying to steal everything you've got, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose to be brave anymore? What do you have to lose to be brave if this dismantling and destroying everything? And I'm waiting for the political leaders and the people that are in better positions of power and bigger platforms to realize that. Well, a lot of people that are, that have big platforms already kind of realize that they gotta fight, But the political leaders, the people that have been in power for a long, long time, the people that are holding on to their careers, the newscasters and stuff. That's why I admired Jim Costa. Going off a little bit, I got some serious admiration for Jim Costa, the one that chose to leave. There were some that were purged out of those media outlets. The good ones, the ones that would speak the truth, and the people of color, and they purged them out, right? But Jim Costa, he's a man of privilege. They were gonna keep him, but they were going to move him into the midnight hours. They were gonna take him out of prime time, but they were gonna keep him. They were gonna keep the white guy. And he left. He chose to leave and chose to step out because he understand the assignment. He understand what we're fighting against. And boy, his stories are inspiration because he left and fell right into doing his own thing, starting his own thing, and there wasn't even a little break in between. He left and he moved into his assignment immediately. He left on his own terms. That was a little digression. But my whole point is to be brave and let it go. Let it go. If they're trying to take it, and it is not yours, and I'm talking about an external thing, a job, a career, something, if they're trying to take it, and let it go and trust, have the faith in the divine, in the higher power, in the light inside of you, that you are taken care of and you're protected, and whatever you lose, you will regain so much more if you just let it go. You gotta let it go. Let it go, let them have it. Just don't let them take your soul, and don't let them take your freedom, and don't let them take your light. That they cannot have. That they cannot have. That they cannot have. Beloved traveler of light, for these words are encoded with the wisdom of the stars. You look at the world and you wonder, how can I change it? But hear me well. You do not change the world by force. You change it by healing yourself. The moment you step into your highest truth, the moment you rise, the entire frequency of reality shifts with you. The light you cultivate within reflects outwards, touching others, lifting them, awakening them. The moment you decide to step forward, even when your hands shake, that is when you break free. But as you rise, be patient with humanity. Many are still asleep. Many are trapped in illusions they cannot yet see. You may feel the urge to shake them awake, to scream the truth into their ears, but that is not your mission. Your mission is to lead by example, to focus not on the shadows, but on the light. More you focus on your mission, less you will be bothered by what is not aligned. The world does not change when you fight the old. It changes when you build new. So be patient, be compassionate. Most of all, be relentless in your purpose. The light always wins. The shift is happening right now. You can feel it, can't you? Something in the air, something in the unseen. The old world trembles and the new reality begins. Because darkness is not a force of its own. It is the absence of light. That is the truth, the orb of truth I needed to collect yesterday. And that is the thing that expanded my mind and my thinking. That's a concept that I didn't, that was a spark, a light bulb over my head. Boom. And again, it reminded me of the quote, the only thing that evil needs to win is for good men to do nothing. So the only thing that will help darkness to win is if we turn out the lights. We allow our lights to be devoured. So let me read that one more time because that's the most significant quote of this whole thing. Darkness is not a force of its own. It is only the absence of light. And every time you choose to shine, to stand tall, to walk in your truth, the darkness recedes. That is why your role is essential in this great transformation. You are not just one among many. You are not small nor insignificant. You are a key in the divine symphony. You are a pillar of this awakening. If you ever doubted your purpose, let this message erase all uncertainty. You are chosen for this time. You are needed. The future is not written in stone. It is woven by those bold enough to create it in your future, beloved. One is radiant. You are manifesting your dreams simply by walking towards them. Every step you take in alignment with your truth, simply by walking towards them. Every step you take in alignment with your truth bends the universe in your favor. Every action, every intention, every shift in your energy draws your destiny closer. But understand this, you cannot carry your old self into the new reality. The conditioned self, the one built from fear, doubt, limitation, must dissolve. Because beyond that shell, beyond that illusion, you are limitless. You are a being of infinite potential. And as you embrace the truth, you will feel the walls around you begin to fall. You will feel the walls around you begin to fall. The barriers in your mind begin to crack. And suddenly you are free. Free to create. Free to expand. Free to become who you were always meant to be. The shift is happening. And you, my friend, are a part of it. Rise, warrior of light. You were never meant to remain in the shadows. You were never meant to be silent, to be small, to be unseen. You came here to awaken, to remember, to lead. The time is now. The shift is here, and you are ready. Step forward with courage. Shine without fear, because the universe moves for those who dare to embrace their light. And you, my friend, you are unstoppable. One love, one light. So it is. And that is a transcript from a YouTube video that I will put the link in the caption below. From a channel called Soul Compass. I only subscribed yesterday, so this is the only video that I watched from that channel. Message from Ashtar. This video found you for a reason. Do not ignore it. And one of the main things I wanted to, emphasize on from that, the whole thing is beautiful. The whole thing resonates with me. A lot of it is stuff that I've said and felt and experienced and heard before, but I've said it. When I hear it, it's just like a confirmation of what I've already heard in my own personal spirit, what I've already been hearing my entire life. So it's just a confirmation of and a validation of what I've heard and said before. But the one thing that really sticks out to me is the part when it says that darkness is not a force. Darkness is not a force of its own. It's the absence of light. That's the key. That's the key that people need to remember. Darkness is not a force of its own. It's the absence of light. And my husband was playing devil advocate with me when I said, "Oh, that is so profound." And he was like, But what if light is the absence of darkness?" But I've never heard us have the ability to turn on darkness when it's light. Do they sell dark bulbs? I mean, yes, I guess you could close the curtain, you could hide the light, but you can't turn on darkness. There's nothing that turns on darkness. Darkness only covers and consumes and shuts out the light. So be a force of light, be powerful and be a powerful force of light and love and truth. And that is how we win. If enough of us are a force of light, that is how we win. And I am one to really, really believe in the idea that one light matters and makes a difference, and one light can help others turn on the light. And as I've said time and time again, and we'll always keep saying, the greatest example of that is from Disney animation that I've always loved. It's always been one of my favorites, Rise of the Guardians. You know, the greatest example of that is from Rise of the Guardians. And the next one that also has a good example of that is Wish, also a Disney animation. And I feel like a lot of the writers and a lot of the people that work on Disney stuff, these are people who are so in touch with their creativity and their light, and they are messengers of light. And only I feel like a lot of Disney stuff have a lot of powerful messages in it, and I really do feel that these are just divine messengers. A lot of the people at Disney is divine messengers of truth, love, and light. So thank you for listening. Remember to subscribe and like and share, and what's the other thing? Comment and help me with my algorithm. Love, peace, and blessings, and happy spring equinox to anybody who is on that side of the world. And peace and happy fall to those who are on the other side of the world. Love y'all.